I'm going to cover multitasking versus immersive experiences as the Vision Pro, and I'm going to use the Animoog Galaxy app and also make some commentary on that in this video to cover it. So when you first open the application Animoog Galaxy, which is a synth for the Vision Pro developed by the Moog company, you can see that it's a very basic design. If I wasn't in an environment right now, you would not see me in kind of this black void. You would see me inside the room, and it would be on top of a table. I could place it on, etc. Put it anywhere I want. And normally I would have panels around me that would show many different things, videos, whatever. Now, if you look, I can't really adjust these little settings, even though you can see my eyes are looking right at it and I'm attempting to adjust it. But when I go into the immersive experience, when I click the Galaxy button, you can see I have full controls. Not only do I have full controls, I have sub-menus that I've set up on the left and the right, and the application remembered which ones I like having open. So being able to create just anything you want in an immersive experience is quite impressive. In this case, I only have limited knowledge of anything to do with synths, and I really enjoyed developing on this, and probably in the future I will develop a couple short sets of chords, etc., running through a synth to make like intros and outros for some of my YouTube content. But this is just me having fun with it and showing like the concepts of how it works, and also some of the interesting nuances of Vision Pro's immersive experiences. So in an immersive experience, it blocks out the outside world completely, more so than the environments, which you can kind of change the environment between 0 and 100%. And it gives you a warning the first time you do it, noting for this app, you know, hey, don't be walking around while you're doing this, etc., etc. But it is really good at focusing things down. It places you in your kind of in this galaxy mode in the case of this, but there's other applications, including native applications like Photos, for example, that have for spatial immersive experiences as well, where they'll cut out everything else, put you in the middle of it, and expand the experience to be much, much larger. Now, one thing that there are the normal limitations of a Vision Pro, where you can use both hands, but your eyes can only look at one thing at a time. So if you are working through things, you really need to kind of time your battles, pick your battles, if you will, and you can kind of queue up with the other hand something different. So if you want to get it right, you can literally go through and change things one by one, or you can change them where you can time something with the other hand. I think it really matters heavily in the way the inputs are put into an immersive, because it's a single focused application that you're running this through, and nothing else has your attention. So it really needs to be really good. It needs to be really built out and have a ton of controls and abilities for you to get the most out of your time. One of the things I've noticed with the Vision Pro is just like when you have multiple monitors on a computer, you know, you may have YouTube or some other content running off to the side on your second monitor just to give you something in the background while you're typing up something for work or school or for yourself. And then also may also have other things that pop up as notifications. And the immersive experiences, it's kind of a way to kind of set the mood and tone away from all of that other things that distract you. You can focus down things. And not just in the Animoog Galaxy you're seeing here, but the Mindfulness app, which is a meditation app that Apple included, is a good example of an immersive experience that kind of disconnects you from everything else for a few minutes and just kind of gets you the creative juices flowing and really gets you thinking about things in a more natural environment, I think, where we can focus down one thing at each time. I'm glad that this is included. I'm glad that it's supported by this without it just being a one app, and done type situation. But it really begs the question of how many more immersive experiences will there be in the future? You see, in Vision Pro, a lot of content, unfortunately, is not set up to have immersive experiences. There is a lot of apps that are only iPad centric. They came from the iPad world. They can work on the Vision Pro, but they're basically just a panel, and that's it. So they're a panel like as if you'd see on an iPad, and you can literally kind of work through them, and you don't have these type of things where you can, okay, I need to focus this down and work on something that has to do with this app and really make it something more. You can make the panel bigger. You can literally look into the corner and drag it the panel and make it huge. That's about all you can do, though. So I think these type of immersive experiences really show what the Apple Pro will be doing, and I can say that it is quite a joyride. So I brought up some of the iPad compatible versions, and I wanted to show you a very basic one that kind of gives you an idea of the experience. Once again, I would normally have all sorts of other panels around me, but I'm trying to focus down this one thing. And also, one of the things I'm finding with the Vision Pro is that if you imagine if you were trying to get a screen recording of your computer, which is what this is, um, you'd have pop-ups, notifications, all sorts of interesting things that you'd have to constantly be worrying about if you're going to, say, post it online. So one of the things that I'm currently working on in my workflow is developing, ways to limit the notifications, which it does have built in, but I'm still getting that right. So kind of in these early stages, just to keep things simple, I wanted to show what you can do and what you can't do. So first of all, yes, the Vision Pro can do games. Yes, the Vision Pro can do games. You can see one right here. This is a iPad-based thing. It's the Kingdom Defense Frontiers, I think it's called, or whatever. It's a fun game, a tower defense game. But the more important thing is, this game, strangely, is actually a wonderful test. It's the old joke of can it run Crisis, or how many FPS can it get in Tomb Raider or something. Games that people really don't use anymore, but they just use them for benchmarking. This game is not well optimized for the Vision Pro. It is not made for the Vision Pro, and strangely, it works incredibly well at showing the edges of what the Vision Pro can do processing wise on itself. So when this thing gets going on like a harder mode, and there's this thousands of animations happening, or whatever, at the very least hundreds and hundreds of animations happening all at once across the entire grid, and there's a lot of inputs being put in, it feels like it's catching the inputs, but the animations tend to slow down a little bit when you get to the highest of high levels. So especially when you're trying to screen record at the same time. So I'm not showing it right here, but it gets insane. And I'm going to start using this as a method to kind of test and benchmark new Vision Pro patches. So I've recorded both of these on Vision Pro 1.0.2, and it is going to become a set of benchmark suites. So I'm going to use unoptimized iPad-based compatible application, and then alongside those, more interesting applications that are Vision Pro based, both in their regular configuration, I'll call it, like the one when you first load it up, how it looks, and then they're also, if they have an immersive mode type application. Now, as a reminder, the immersive modes kind of get to, I'm not going to use the word cheat, but they kind of get the advantage because they can basically block out everything else. An immersive mode, by its definition, is meant to immerse yourself in an experience, whether it is a video, whether it is an application. And one of the more interesting ones I've found is some of the video content that's coming out is very cool. One of the ones I found was the IMAX theater, which is like, a multi-story tall IMAX theater like you'd find in real life, where you can watch videos in. And obviously I can't show video from because it's copyrighted content. But that's an example of like an immersive experience that's more set. It is a downloaded object. It is right there. It is not doing many calculations other than just showing where your hands are and recording any gestures you want. But in general, that's a pretty interesting application. You have, a high-end video, probably 4K video or close to it, and it's trying to render that out in such a method in a zone where it shows light bouncing off the walls and everything else. That's actually quite nice. So I think there's a suite of different applications that will need to be tested, treating this truly like the computer it asked to be treated as, where it's, can it do productivity? Can it do games? Can it do entertainment that's and consumption of media? And can it do all these things in multiple different modes? how well can it do compatibility with iPad-based technology, and how well do Vision Pro design from the ground up applications do, or apps that may have been iPad apps in some cases, but then were quietly changed over to Vision Pro ready. And so is there a difference there? So I think there's an interesting journey ahead, and I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and especially on this one, comments are most welcome. I'm available on here and on Discord and Reddit. And one of the things I'd like to hear is testing methodologies. Do you have any suggestions about different apps you'd like me to cover? Preferably free ones, because some of these are paid. I like the Moog one, but that's something, something special for me. I've always liked content creation in many different ways, and something that's new and exciting, especially something made from the ground up, is very cool. But yeah, especially if it's free, I would gladly check it out. Consider it for kind of creating like a test suite, and then running them each one through the new patch, and then see if there's changes. And also, interestingly, like, is environments change the dynamics? So if you're just using pass-through versus an environment that has to be blocking out everything around you and then kicking it in. So yeah, a lot of exciting stuff. This is some of my first impressions of the Vision Pro, but I didn't want to create yet another video of just, I think it's cool. I wanted to show you things that I'm looking at, and a peek behind the curtain. Another interesting app I'd like to cover in the future is Weather Radar, and also some of the other weather apps, because some of them are pretty interesting, like a status board to see all sorts of weather around you. But also, one of the trends I'm not liking is that I'm seeing a lot of subscription-based content, which is not a bad thing, but there's ideally there should be like a free level, and then you can test the waters, toe the water, so to speak, and then see, hey, do I really need this? Do I really want this? Do I really like the style of this app? And then kind of buy in on a subscription-based model. Just my opinion. But yeah, so that's all I got right now. Thanks again.